Hey everybody, I have spent the day reading your matrices and have posted feedback for your review. The way BoxView manages in Blackboard, I can't put comments on the actual spreadsheet that you submitted, so all the feedback is in the inline grading rubric for your review. So be sure that you go in there and take a look about the feedback that's been provided. You may notice that I've said giving you feedback that you need to make a revision. The only reason you need to resubmit your matrix is if I specifically asked you to resubmit it and have given you an additional submission opportunity. The primary reason I would have you do that is to make sure that you have real clarity about your next steps before you start part 3. If you've done well with your matrix, then you have organized your articles well. You've done an analysis of each article, and you have explained a scholarly rationale for how that article aligns with your PCOS question. So if you are missing elements that are minor, let's say you mixed some of your research methods and your study designs, that's not that big a deal. I'm going to let you know, hey, this is not quite where it needs to be, but that's not going to impact part 3 of your paper. If you do not fully understand bias and you haven't linked your population and the research process with bias, part 3 is going to be problematic. If you've not really done a good analysis of the reason you're going to keep one article versus another in your matrix to support your PCOS question, then part 3 is going to be problematic. So we want to clean those things up. Now, if I've said, hey, just make these revisions for your own good, how you do that is entirely up to you. You can take a sheet of paper, you can do it in your head. I would personally actually write it on the matrix. But that's up to you. I don't need to see it. If I feel like you've got a pretty good sense and you just need to polish a little bit of detail. If you're not where you need to be, then you're going to need to resubmit that just so I can put my eyes on it and make sure that you're headed in the right direction. Because this is a progressive assignment, we've talked about this several other times. If part 1's not right, then part 2 was not right. If part 2's not right, then part 3 is really not right. And I don't want a little bit of wobbling in the part 2 to negatively impact your final product in part 3. So be attentive to the feedback. Use the Ask the Professor link for generalized questions. Send me an email if it's specific to your grade or your own performance. I'm happy to get on the phone with you or exchange emails and answer your questions to make sure that you're where you need to be. This is, to me, 10 times harder than the final paper because you know how to write a paper. You know how to organize your thinking and use level headings. You know APA. You know how to approach a scholarly paper. The matrix is an animal unto itself, and it is a fantastic tool. So please don't walk away from this assignment and think, oh, I'll never use this again. If you ever do research for any reason, you should have some tool, some method of organizing your research. I'm currently working on a research project now, and I have a matrix. It's organized a little bit differently because the elements that I need are different, but I'm still using a tool to organize my articles. And this tool prevents me from having to go in and reread articles because I'm looking for something specific. I have them organized in my matrix and it's coordinated with how they're placed in my binder. I know where they are in my electronic folder, and that helps me stay on top of my research. So take the feedback and apply it. Holler with questions. Your assignment for week 6 is to do your practicum log number 2. You're old pros at this. Any questions, holler at me. Otherwise, just keep moving. Make sure that you are tracking the goals and objectives that you have not clearly stated that you've met. It is an expectation that prior to closing out this course that you've met all of your goals and objectives. So you need to make sure you have clarity on what you haven't met yet. Your portfolio part 3. This is the final finish. Remember that one of the first step in this is to designate how you have spent service, and your service categories are professional, community, and faith service. Do not be alarmed if some of those areas are less full than other areas. If you have an area that is absolutely, completely not touched, post that in the comment section so that I know that you didn't just ignore it, but that you actually do not have anything to put in it. Remember, when we think about professional service, these are the things that you do as part of your employment that maybe you don't get compensated for. Participations on a shared governance committee, supporting a committee for Nurses Week, presenting posters at your monthly faculty meetings or staff meetings. Think about the things you do that build and support your team and your organization that you do because you're just on the team. That would be your professional service. Community service is anything you do in your personal life. If you coach T-ball, if you are a Girl Scout troop leader, anything that supports your community. Your faith is anything that you do within your spiritual setting, whether that is regular church attendance, going and helping in the daycare. Maybe you help with Vacation Bible School. Maybe you do you support their summer camps, their annual summer camps. Think about the things that you do to really support the thriving and the growth of your church community, and add that under your faith service. The next piece of this is your artifacts. You know that one of those artifacts that's required is going to be your document for goals and objectives that's got the exact date of each goal and each objective of when you have stated that you have accomplished those. If you have not finished that, but you fully intend to finish it prior to the end of the course, I want you to put pending and the course closeout date, which I think is May 18th. I'm going to go back in and make sure that it's actually met. But if you have a handful, I mean like 2, 3, 4, that you haven't met, that's okay. You can add those as pending. Outside of that, if it's much more than that, we probably should have a conversation about getting you back on track. The other 3 artifacts just need to be a variety of things. And folks, remember that your artifacts can be placed wherever you feel like is relevant within the body of your portfolio so that they're meaningful. If you want to use a picture, and you feel like the first place you want that is on your homepage, by all means put that. If you decide to do an introductory video, Adobe Spark, if you haven't played with that, is a great way to do an introductory video. It's also really easy to use and it's free, which is why you get videos from me in that format. If you decide to do that and you want to put that in on a professional page, it's entirely up to you and how you want to organize this. Someone asked on the Ask the Professional link, whether things had to be in a certain spot. And the answer is no. I'm pretty good at Easter egg hunting for these things. Just make sure that you have that you've placed them in your portfolio and that they're clearly noted. And if they need explanation, if they're not like your personal portfolio, your personal photo or professional photo, that doesn't need a caption. But if you are putting in a poster point for a presentation, you probably want to add a sentence or 2 about why that's there and why you think it's a good artifact. Just make clear so that the person viewing it right now is me, but maybe you use a portfolio later. You don't want the person viewing your portfolio wondering why something is where you put it and why it's included in a portfolio. The context should be clear. So if it isn't on its face clear, add some detail so that it is clear. Let me check my notes and make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Nope, I think I'm good. Okay, just so you know, this week is going to be a little crazy for me. Tomorrow is my birthday, and in my house, birthdays are your own personal holiday. So I have lots of things going on just from a family standpoint, but also work commitments. So if there's a little bit of a delay, know that I am not dialed out, but it just may be a little bit to getting back to you. From this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the following Monday, I'm going to be out of town, taking a deep breath right before all of the celebration before we go into graduation. That it's a personal trip, but again, I'm not dialing out. It's just that you're going to notice a little bit of a delay in me responding to emails or the Ask the Professor link. If there is something emergent that needs urgent attention, feel free to text me on my cell phone. You guys have that number. But otherwise, just know that I haven't disappeared. I'm I'm just having a party. I hope you guys are well, that you are having a great week here in Roanoke. It is going to be warm and sunny and beautiful. Praise the Lord. We have been ready for spring. I hope wherever you are that you are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, that you're feeling a sense of I can do this and that you are almost done. Know that I'm praying for you and I'm cheering for you. You can do this. You are almost there. Have a great week, folks. Be in touch if you need anything. Take care.